Alright, YouTubers, welcome back to War Thunder Ground Forces with the Angry Nerd, and today I thought we would take a look at the M4A4 SA50, known as the M50 in Israeli service. But before we get started, I'd like to bring your attention to the skin that's on this vehicle. It was created by Tiger 6, and I will leave a link in the video description to his live WarThunder.com profile, so that you can find this skin and many other wonderful skins that he has created. Now, the M4A4 SA50, or the Sherman M50, was a modified version of the American M4 Sherman tank that served with the Israeli Defense Forces from the mid-1950s to the early 1980s. During the First World War, Britain defeated the Ottoman forces in the Middle East and set up a military administration across the former Ottoman Syria. In 1920, the territory was divided between Britain and France under the Mandate system, and the British-administered area, which included modern-day Israel, was named Mandatory Palestine. After World War II, hundreds of thousands of Jewish Holocaust survivors and refugees sought a new life in Palestine, far from their destroyed communities in Europe. Many of the refugees were turned away or rounded up and placed in detention camps by the British. Britain found itself in an intense conflict with the Jewish community over Jewish immigration limits, as well as continued conflict with the Arab community over Jewish immigration. The British and Jewish conflict finally disintegrated into an armed struggle against British rule. In 1947, the British government announced it would withdraw from Palestine, stating it was unable to arrive at a solution acceptable to both Arabs and Jews. On 15 May 1947, the United Nations created the United Nations Special Committee on Palestine to attempt to resolve the Palestine issue. The committee proposed a plan to replace the British mandate with an independent Arab state and an independent Jewish state, and the city of Jerusalem, the last being under an international trusteeship system. The Jewish representatives accepted the plan. The Arab League and the Arab Higher Committee of Palestine rejected it and indicated that they would reject any other plan of partition. On the following day, December 1st, 1947, the Arab Higher Committee proclaimed a 3-day strike, and Arab gangs began attacking Jewish targets as a civil war broke out. Eventually, the Jewish settlers prevailed, and 250,000 Palestinian Arabs fled or were expelled, with the Arab League and Arab Higher Committee rejecting any plan of partition. On 14 May 1948, the day before the expiration of the British Mandate, the Jewish Agency declared the establishment of the State of Israel. The following day, the armies of 4 Arab countries, Egypt, Syria, Transjordan, and Iraq, entered what had been British Mandatory Palestine, launching the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The apparent purpose of the invasion was to prevent the establishment of the Jewish state at its inception. On May 26, 1948, the Israeli Defense Forces were created in a baptism of fire in the 1948 War for Independence. Israel's main supplier of weapons at the time was Czechoslovakia, and the IDF only had on hand improvised armored cars, mostly scout cars and truck chassis, hastily converted into armored cars, with the addition of armored plating and a machine gun or two. Israel's initial tank force consisted entirely of old French Hotchkiss tanks, obsolete even at the beginning of World War II. Desperate for better tanks, the Israelis literally went to the scrap heap, junkyards in Palestine, Europe, and as far away as the Philippines together contain hundreds of tanks left over and abandoned during the recent global war. These tanks were smuggled back to Israel, at times disguised or mislabeled as tractors, to become part of the motley collection of weapons that could be used to preserve Israel's newfound existence. After a year of fighting, a ceasefire was declared and temporary borders were established. Jordan annexed what became known as the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, and Egypt took control of the Gaza Strip. After the war, the need for tanks was obvious, and thanks to contacts in the USA, U.S. Army surplus stocks of M4 Shermans were delivered to Israel in 1950. In 1953, an Israeli delegation visited France to examine the promising AMX-13 light tank. They were not impressed by its thin armor, but the gun did attract their interest. The AMX-13's gun was a high-velocity 75 mm gun, the CN-7550, which was a development of the German 75 mm KWK-42L70 from the Panther tank. It was decided to rearm a large portion of the Shermans in the IDF inventory with this piece of ordnance. In 1954, Israel and France went to work together on a project to fit the French CN-7550 75 mm gun to the Sherman 75 mm turret. To make it work, they added an extension to the front of the turret to fit the gun and to the rear of the turret to add counterbalance weight. An order was placed in France in 1955 and a prototype M4A1 76 turret with the new gun was shipped to Israel to be tested. The next year, in March 1956, the Israeli Ordnance Corps began conversions in new facilities with a large number of supplies of the French gun purchased in the meantime. The first 50 units were based on the M4A4 hull with the Continental R975 gasoline engine and the VVSS suspension. However, the increased weight of the vehicle combined with its narrow tracks led to poor off-road mobility. It also put too much strain on the engine, resulting in frequent mechanical failures. Consequently, for the rest of the conversions, hulls fitted with the HVSS suspension and the Cummins V8 460 horsepower diesel engine were adopted. For this reason, these conversion batches were known as the M50 Mk.I or Continental and the M50 Mk.II or Cummins. In total, 300 Sherman tanks were so converted into M50s in 1964. The first test for the M50 came in the Suez Crisis of 1956, in which Israel, followed by Britain and France, attempted to regain control of the Suez Canal after Egypt nationalized it, taking control of it from a British and French-controlled company. Israel, Britain, and France were able to defeat the Egyptian forces and regain control of the canal, but not before it was sabotaged and blocked to all shipping. Strangely enough, the M50s were confronted with Egyptian M4A4s rearmed with the FL-10 AMX-13 turrets. The major test of the M50 came in the Six-Day War in 1967. Virtually all the M50s and M51s were thrown into action in the Golan Heights, the West Bank, and the Sinai Peninsula, and they were confronted with Soviet World War II-era T-34-85s, which they performed well against. In 1973, these tanks were again committed in large numbers, despite being obsolete, due to the desperate nature of the struggle. This time, losses were heavier, since their opponents were now better armed and armored. However, it was shown that the 105 mm armed M51s were able to score kills on the T-54-55s and T-62s using heat ammunition. The M50 Mk.Is of the first batch never participated in this war, being removed from service the previous year. The M50 Mark IIs were gradually phased out after the war in the late 1970s, and the M51s in the early 80s. Now in War Thunder Arcade, the M4A4 SA50 or M50 Mark I is a rank 3 medium tank with a battle rating of 4.7. It has an 878 horsepower engine propelling the 34.3 ton vehicle to a top speed of 26.2 miles per hour. It comes equipped with the 75 mm SA50 L57 cannon. The recommended ammo load for this vehicle is 33 rounds. Now I have it assigned to an expert crew with a crew level of 150, which gives me a reload of 8 seconds. With a premium account, it has an XP reward of 308% and a silver line reward of 165%. So what do I think of the Israeli M4A4 SA50, or should I say the M50 Mark I here in the French tech tree? Well, I guess it's in the French tech tree because I don't think we're going to have an Israeli tech tree anytime soon. And it is a French gun, and the French did figure out how to put their gun into the Sherman tank. So, you need vehicles for the French tech tree, and here it is. If you're familiar with the M4's hull, you already know it's pretty weak, so try not to get hit. But this gun is surprisingly good. It has very good muzzle velocity, which makes it easier to hit moving targets. I'm a little disappointed with the reload rate. The Firefly reloads somewhere around 7.5 or 6, and the Sherman 76 somewhere around 7, so I'd like to see it a little bit lower, but hey, I don't know how historical that is. But I am liking this gun. And on a side note, I got the gameplay footage for this vehicle well before I did the research on it and found out it was an Israeli vehicle. So I have French decals on the vehicle during the gameplay. That being said, why don't we hop into a game, see what I was able to do with the M50 Mark I. Here we go. All right, looks like we picked up Maginot Line, which, hey, kind of appropriate for a French tank, I would think. We're on the northern side of the map, and I'm going to go for this easternmost spawn point. All right. We are heading far east, and somebody's already flashed the map over where I'm wanting to head, so park over here behind this little ridge on the reverse side of the slope of this hill. Already see some red over there. This is the slope I'm talking about right here. Oh, lovely. Panzer IV's easy targets for this. What do we got? A Tiger H1. See if I can drop some already. Get him to move out from behind that building. Oh, What is that? Waffenträger. Whoa! He's shooting at me. How dare he? If he would have hit me, I'd have been respawning in another vehicle. What's that Waffenträger gun? It's deadly. Oh, what is that? M18, I think. Got a good hit on him, but I didn't take him out. Gotta be careful of that Waffenträger. Oh, there he is up there. I can't get a bead on him. Oh, nice. I don't know why the M18 turned toward me, but if you can get them straight through the front like that, you can do way more damage than you can from the side. So we're hopping this air battle. See if I can do any damage. What do we got? I'd like to get that Waffenträger, but I don't see him. There's two vehicles right here. Ah! I was hoping I was going to be able to pull up out of that. If you can drop your bombs and then wound them with your rockets, they can't get away from your bombs. Alright, we got a good hit. Oh, somebody else killed him. Got a kill assist. What is that? Oh. He hit me. Knocked out a couple of my crew members. He paid the price for it. So we're gonna replenish the crew. Nothing to drop artillery on. We've got 2 caps, they've got 1. So I'm feeling comfortable just hanging out right this minute. It's a Panther. We guess at this range. Oh, too low, and I really can't see my reticles all that well. I really can't see good enough to do that. Let's see, what is that? T-34. Moved. I don't know if I can pin him through the front, but I'm gonna try. Let's see. Got his track. Target undamaged. Ooh, IS-1. Missed him. Alright, get some hits on this guy. That'll be an assist at least. Well, what is that? Behind hill. There we go. It's the gun I'm trying to use, not the hull. What is that? Don't really have a shot on that vehicle. Is he moving? He's gone. Something right there. Let's see. Dang, it bounced. Ooh. And that bounced. That's a jumbo. Okay, we're going to back up a bit. Mini-map got somebody off this way. Let's hop into an air battle. Come back a little bit. Maybe I'll be safe right here. I'm not sure. Got 4 bombs. Not sure what kind of plane I'm in. One there. Oh. Need to get back in my vehicle. Oh yeah, Commander, come over here and help this tiger. Well, that didn't help much. It did distract him a little bit, I think. Somebody else down there. Let's see. Ah, he's going behind the building. Ooh. Dang it, somebody else over here. Alright, he's dead. That's nice. Let me repair my gun. He just tried to bomb my friendly tiger. Which way is he facing? Oh, man. Did nothing. Drop some arty on him. Alright, we're going for it. He fired. Keeping an angle from him. They killed him before I got there. Dang it. Alright, I'm going for the cap. We are losing the C cap. So I'm going for the A cap. KV-85 over there. We're just looking around. I think the KV-85 is my nearest threat. and take a pot shot at him over the edge of this hill, but I don't want to come out of the cap circle. Alright, we've capped. Boom! Are they capping B? Where are those bombs? Where are those bombs? Oh, shoot. Run away, run away. Alright, they are capping B. Make sure I don't get hit in the side. I got a nice assist on the plane there. It's all points. Just use that machine gun. Get some extra points. Alright. There's somebody on B. Come up in here, should be right around here. What is that? Oh man. M50 KV1, KV1B. See right about there. Did lots of damage. Ah, somebody else killed him. Alright, we're capping. And there's bombs. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh, dang, front and back of me. Dang it, dang it. Crap. All right. We're alive, but we're screwed up. And we got tanks coming in. Okay, we're repaired. What do we got? What is that? I can't tell. I can't tell what that is. Alright, I'm gonna try to flank. Try to flank. Oh shoot. Let's see. We've got him stuck right there in the open. Beat his gun rotation. How about right there? That'll work. Somebody shot at me from the back. There's a Panther up here somewhere. Oh shoot. Dang it. Oh no. Dang it, dang it, dang it. There we go. Goodness gracious. And bombs. What is that over there? Something heading toward A. Ah, we made this M4 Sherman hull. The gun is really nice, and if you really like this gun and you really like this Sherman hull, you can get something very similar as a premium. You can get the M4A1 FL10. It comes with the AMX13 turret with an auto loader. So, I don't know that that would be worth it. For me, I'm not a fan of the M4 hull once we start getting up into the higher BRs. But, if you want something to grind out some French vehicles, that might be a vehicle for you. But anyway, if you've liked this look at the M50 Mark I, hit that like button. If you don't, subscribe if you would. But as always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Nerd out.